Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Timmy and I film about faith, lifestyle, and a bunch of other stuff that I felt inspired to speak about or led to speak about. But here we are. I know it's been a minute. But part of this video is me just explaining what I've been up to and just kind of sharing some of my experiences with you guys. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, please make sure to subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up at the end, and let's get straight into this video. Okay, so if you're watching this video, I'm probably either at the end of my externship or I have already ended my externship. So all of these things I'm sharing today are things that I have actually experienced and have worked for me. Over this past summer, I don't know when this video is going to come out, but over this past summer, I had the privilege of interning. I was a student nurse intern at a hospital and I was working in the ER. So I was a student nurse intern in the emergency room. And before I started my internship, I actually was looking for like a lot of resources, a lot of videos that I felt would be helpful so that I could know what I should expect, or I just like needed a video that would help me figure out what to put in my work bag, because I just really wanted to be prepared. I'm the type of person I always want to be prepared for situations. I just always kind of want to be one step ahead when it comes to anything. Okay, so it was really important to me that I had some knowledge about what to put in my work bag. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but it's just the way things are, registered nurses that you see have videos on what they put in their work bag or what they put in their lunch bag, stuff like that. So there's nothing like really intern specific or extern specific, and I kind of wanted to make a video about what I did and what I put in my work bag and the things that just helped me. And yeah, I'm just going to be sharing some of that experience in hopes that it helps someone. Okay, so first off, I think I need to show you guys my bag. Now, when I was trying to like decide what to put, I'm sorry, my chair is moving around so much, what to put in my work bag, I was thinking about buying like a regular nursing bag, you know, one of them really expensive ones that you find online and stuff like that. You don't need that, trust me, you do not need that. All you need is literally like a regular backpack. Okay, and what I do is that I have a different backpack for my stuff and I have a different work bag. So sorry, this is actually a lunch bag, that's what I was going to say. I have a work bag where I have all my stuff, and I also have a lunch bag for my food. And I'm going to tell you guys what I put in each one of them that kind of helps me get through the shift, because I work 12-hour shifts. Okay, so regular stuff, okay? Your charger, your AirPods for when you're on your break so you can, you know, listen to music. Just your regular stuff, like stuff that I don't need to repeat, that you obviously know you have to carry, your wallet, stuff like that, like your credit cards, debit cards, things like that. All those things, all the normal stuff you would need from day to day, like to just function and be in the public. Here, you need your stethoscope. Okay, I have been very blessed to have amazing preceptors, amazing people that I work with, and they've always given me great opportunities to experience new stuff. Like whenever anything new is happening, they're always pointing me in the direction of adventure, and I love it. So sometimes they'll ask you, does somebody have a stethoscope? Now let me tell you, you have to stay within the scope of your practice as a student nurse. So most of the time you can't really do a lot of stuff independently, but you can assist your nurse and you can observe. So part of those things is sometimes you might get the opportunity after your nurse has done her assessment to actually also listen to lung sounds, to listen to breath sounds, to listen to heart sounds. You want to have your stethoscope on hand. Sometimes when a gastric tube has been placed, things like that, like an NGT placement, an OGT placement, like you want to have your stethoscope because somebody's gonna ask who has a stethoscope. And let me tell you, the easiest way to shine in the ER as a student nurse, as a new whatever, is to be the person who always has the thing that everybody's asking for. Okay, so make sure you have your stethoscope in your bag, and make sure it's just like always on you, ready to go. I have a pack of wipes. Okay, so sometimes like when I get off my shift, one of the things I like to do, I like to wipe down my stuff. So I wipe down my phone sometimes, like whenever I'm not too tired, okay, because sometimes I'd be tired. Wipe down my phone, I wipe down my stethoscope. I just wipe down all of the stuff that I have used to perform patient care or to like observe, all those things. I make sure I write everything down just as a method of infection control. All right, so another thing that you want to have in your bag that's like is a 100% must for me is a notepad and a pen. So what I do with this is that I make sure to write down all this new stuff I'm learning. So for example, like I said, I work in the ER, so I have gotten the opportunity to observe a lot of traumas and stuff like that. And there are a couple of things that are different in the ER than they are on regular med surg floors. So what I have done, like watching them perform a fast exam, something like that, like I always write things like that down, like okay, when the patient comes in, patient is the victim of a trauma, this and this and this is what you want to do, this and this is what you want to watch out for, because those kind of things, these are experiences that I'm learning right now that I might forget when I go back. There will be things that will be useful for me and I don't want to forget them. So just like the process of the chain of events that happens whenever a patient comes in the ER, whenever a patient comes in complaining of chest pain. So what is the chest pain protocol? What is the stroke protocol? Like what are all those things that are put in place? Like how is the care different? So a lot of things I have in my notepad are things like that, like observing how a fast exam is performed, like the ultrasounds, the parts that are checked, what they ask the patients to do, just so I can know like what those things are. And sometimes I also, when I get back home, try to look them up and try to like learn more about them, and that way I know that I'm keeping track of my experiences and I'm keeping track of all of the new things that I'm learning. Another thing that I include in my notepad is notes from all the training sessions that we do. So as a part of my program, we actually do have training sessions where we have like actual nurses come in and they give us training on things like end-of-life care, palliative care, postmortem care, like things like that. So I take my notes also in the notepad. So at the end of my externship, what I will have is like a comprehensive notepad that I can go back to and look back on not only my experiences but also look back on things that I have learned, and I'll be able to take this with me not only back when I'm going back to school and going back to my regular clinicals, but I'll also be able to use these things when I am interviewing for a job and I'm trying to crack my brain to remember what are the things I learned in the ER, what are the things I learned. Like if they ask me, if I'm interviewing for a job in the emergency room and they ask me as a nurse, what do you think you're going to do when a patient comes in complaining of chest pain? What is the protocol? What do you think the first step, what do you think the first step is going to be? Like all those kind of things are things I have learned, but I can't forget because I'm human and I forget things. But if I have them written down somewhere, I can always have the chance to go back and look at them. Okay, so the next thing that I have in my bag is a pair of shears. Okay, these are regular scissors because I lost my shears after a while, but I am going to get a pair of new ones. But it's just to get like to show you guys that this is like holy grail. Okay, let me tell you something. Even if there's nothing that you can do, because you know there's, like I said, scope of practice, and there's certain things that you're not allowed to do because they're not within your scope of practice, and please, I beg you, stay within your scope of practice. You can help to cut closer for a trauma. Okay, this is like holy grail. You need to have a pair of shears, because I bet you if you're working in the ER, one of these days someone is going to come in that is a trauma from an MVA or something, and you're going to have to cut them out of their clothes. And this is going to come handy because somebody is going to ask, does anyone have a pair of shears on them? And you're going to come to the rescue with the shears. Okay, and that is a really good way to kind of put yourself out there, make yourself stand out, because then everybody's going to know you when they eventually come give you back your shares, and you go like, oh, what's your name? And then you tell them your name, and then you learn from them. So this is a really good way to stand out. Have a pair of shares with you. Okay, all right, so the next thing that I make sure that I always have in my work bag, I make sure that I always have, which is not in this work bag at the moment, but just take my word for it. Okay. I always have an extra pair of, I always have extra face masks when in my work bag, because sometimes like when you're working in, maybe you're rushing to work and you forget to put on your face mask or to grab a face mask. If you have an extra pair in your bag, whenever you get to work, like while you're walking up to the door or you're clocking in, you could always pull it out of your bag and put it on. So that way you always have a face mask. So always have an extra pair in your bag. I always also keep an extra pair in my car, just, you know, to be double safe, extra. Okay, so another really important thing that I have learned to do is to have a plastic bag. Well, I don't really use a plastic bag because I don't really put a lot of stuff in my trunk, but what I do and what I've learned from my preceptor is to have a pair of slides in my car. So what that does is that I always make sure that I don't cross-contaminate as much as I can. Okay, I know it's not like 100% all the time that you won't like cross-contaminate or stuff like that, but like I always make sure that I have a pair of slides in my car. So what I do is once I get out of work, I take my work shoes off, I put them in the trunk, and I put on my slides. So my work shoes don't come in the house, okay? They stay in my trunk, and they stay in my trunk because there's a lot of stuff you're going to step in the ER that you're not even going to ever bring into your house, okay? So my advice to everybody, it was a great tip from my preceptor and now I do it. I always have a pair of slides in my car, and what I do is that those slides are the only thing that come in this house, okay? I take off my socks and I take off my shoes and I put my feet in my slides, and my slides are the things that enter this house. My work shoes that step in nasty stuff, body fluids, all those nasty things that I don't want to get into right now, they don't come in the house. So that's another tip that I learned from my preceptor, that I have in this work bag. So those are things that I have in this work bag right here, that I keep all my work stuff in. So now I'm going to go over to my lunch bag, which is my favorite bag of the day, always, because I like food. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot one thing. One more thing that you want to have in your bag is a sweater or a pullover, okay? Because the hospital is cold like 90% of the time. Sometimes I wear an undershirt because I just want to have that dexterity and freedom of movement. Like, I don't want anything limiting my movement or my ability to care for my patients. So most of the time I will have an undershirt, but if you don't want to wear an undershirt, make sure that you have so like I always have my sweater permanently in my bag. I don't take it out, like it's always in my bag. Once I do my laundry and get everything out of the dryer, I pop it in my bag immediately so that I never forget it. And because there's nothing worse, okay, than being cold and having to care for people or having to do something. Like, your brain can't function and you're not at your best, so you want to have a sweater in your bag as well. Now onto my favorite bag, my lunch bag. Okay, so my lunch bag, I always have like a bottle of water or two, or I mean, if you have a water bottle, that works fine as well. You could just refill it and just like keep putting water and ice in it, and that helps. But sometimes I have bottled water too in my bag, and then I have at least one energy drink. I always have one Gatorade or whatever. I always just have one there, because let me tell you, I struggled through my first couple of 12-hour shifts. I struggled. I was so sleepy, I was so tired. But then when I started having energy drinks, like I'll pace myself and give myself breaks where I can have like a sip or two of my energy drinks, and that would always like boost my energy levels. And I'm so sad to report, but I have started drinking coffee because it's almost inevitable. Like, you have to stay awake. So what are you going to do? So another thing that I have in my lunch bag is I have lots of snacks, okay? So that's one thing I realized after working like a couple of 12-hour shifts. Snacks will keep you awake, especially if you have like a kind of slow night and there's not really a lot going on and you want to stay awake, because best believe me, something is going to come in before the end of your shift and you want to be awake, you want to be alert. So what I do is I have lots of snacks in my bag. I have like Lay's. You can hear the rustling, okay? I have Lay's, I have popcorn, like just stuff that you can pop in your mouth and just eat. Well, just make sure you wash your hands, okay, between your eating and whatever. I have snacks in my bag. I have popcorn, I have Lay's, sometimes I have gummy bears, sometimes I have chocolate, sometimes I have Starburst, sometimes I just have like whatever it is that I can put my hands on. Sometimes I also have like, I buy this big bag of Cheetos and I pour them in Tupperware, like this little plastic thing, pop them in the bag, and I just keep eating it like throughout the night. That's what I do. So all of these things contribute to helping you stay awake. All right, so the final thing I pack in my lunch bag is I make sure to pack some paper towels for obvious reasons. Sometimes I don't trust, like even in the break room, in the lunch room, whatever, I don't trust those paper towel machines, okay? Because part of my mind is still like, oh my gosh, we're in a hospital. So sometimes I just pack my own paper towels inside my lunch bag, just to make sure that I know its origin, okay? And it's not. And honestly, I don't think there's anything else that I would add, but that is just what I have in my bag, in my lunch bag, and in my work bag. Like I said, just keep it simple, do what works for you. After a couple of days, you're going to figure out what it is that you need, what it is that you absolutely have to have in your bag. And my tip is I always make sure to pack my work bag, my lunch bag ahead of time, so I'm not rushing out the door and forgetting something. That way I know that I have everything I need. And I really hope that this video was helpful for you guys, and I'm sorry I haven't been consistent making videos, but it's just been so hard and I need to give myself a little bit more discipline to make sure I'm putting out more videos. But this video is definitely one in a couple of series, sharing my experiences and just helping you guys prepare better. And I hope that this video has helped you to better prepare for your first day as a nurse intern, and I wish you the very best. And if you're working in the ER, I hope you have lots of fun, and I hope that you learn a lot, and I hope that you remember again why you decided to pursue a career in healthcare. And I think with that, we've come to the end of this video. I'm gonna get back to cooking my food, and I hope that you guys have a lovely day. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.